fuel cards to mitigate rising gas prices. Look, we hear about this in the news all the time. Gas prices are obviously rising, and what's happening abroad right now isn't going to bring them down anytime soon. But here's a question: how can you actually use this as an advantage to you in your business? I mean, how can you actually use business credit to tap in to help solve this problem and at the same time build out your business credit profile that makes lenders and credit issuers want to give you more money? Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about during today's training. Today, we're going to talk about how to get corporate credit cards that you can use for fuel. We're basically going to talk about using what's called fleet credit to be able to get fuel cards at almost every major fuel station you could think of to repair vehicles, maintain vehicles, even put fuel in vehicles. And we're going to talk about how to get this credit without a personal guarantee, without a personal credit check. We're even going to look at, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 of these best cards that are out there and talk about exactly how to get approved without the guarantee and without the credit check. We've got a lot to cover today, so let's dive in. So look, we all know gas prices are rising, right? That's a fact. Everything is happening with Ukraine, Russia, COVID, inflation. All these things are hitting at once, and all of them might tie into the cost, but the cost doesn't even matter. We all see all of the news. We all feel the pain at the pump where gas prices are going to an all-time high in a lot of different states. We've even got places where it's $6, $7, or $8 a gallon. Okay, there's no escape from this either, right? This affects everybody. Now, some states are extremely expensive right now when it comes to gas prices, more than others. But again, I feel like you and I can relate that we're all feeling this at the pump. So at the pump, to fuel our car takes a lot more money than it ever did before. And if we're running a business that's based on having a fleet of vehicles out there, then it becomes even more problematic because could be substantial, and that cuts into our marginability really to even run our business. So the cost of gas affects everyone, right? It doesn't matter. I mean, the entire supply chain is affected by gas prices. So if it costs more to transport goods, well, then the goods go up, right? And this is part of what we're seeing with inflation and record high inflation that we haven't seen in decades. Okay, this is one of the factors that ties into it, is because as fuel prices rise, then the cost to deliver just about everything goes up with it. And all of that ties in with inflation. So it doesn't just affect gas, it affects the prices that we're paying on everything that we're actually doing to run our business. So thanks for coming in. Make sure that you say hello when you come in. I always like to give you a shout out. Brian's coming in again from Colorado Springs. Good seeing you, Brian. And Daryl says the Sam's Phillips revolving store card used for same gas gets you 24 months to pay cash back for your account. I'm going to actually pull this up. I think this is good info. 5% cheaper gas and ultimately only paying 1/20th bill each month for the first 24 months, 4-month difference to account. So again, appreciate this. And this is just a further addition to exactly what we're going to be talking about today. Let me pull this up again. This is from Daryl. And Daryl's talking about a lot of the things we're talking about today. Hey, look, just by getting one of these type of gas cards we're talking about, gets you 24 months to pay cash back for your account, 5% cheaper gas, and ultimately only paying 1/20th the bill each month for the next 24 months. So again, when you're trying to deal with inflation and everything, sometimes the longer you can spread out payments, the more cash back you can get, discounts on gas, all these things tie in to make it feasible. Daryl, thanks, man. I couldn't have said it better as he did, of one of the huge benefits of why you need to be taking advantage of fuel cards right now, especially as we inch closer and closer to a recession. So you can use gas cards to simply mitigate the rising gas prices. It might not be a perfect solution, right? But then again, there's nothing you and I are going to do to create a perfect solution, because there's nothing you and I are going to be able to do to lower gas prices. So what we need to do is still be able to operate our businesses effectively and efficiently, even with the gas prices going up. Now, a lot of reasons you want to get gas cards. Some gas cards offer discounts, and we just heard here. And as Daryl said, hey, this one card here gives you 5% discount on gas. So if you're fueling a car full of, $100, $200, or even a semi truck, $600 to $1,000 to fill up the truck, that 5% can really add up, especially when you have a fleet. Okay, so you save on gas directly with these kind of cards, and some are offer points or cash back. And again, Daryl's doing a great job here. Okay, 5 stars to Daryl, because he actually mentioned the exact same thing here, right? Is that you're actually able to come in and even get cash back on this. So you're even able to earn cash back. You're able to get discounts. You're able to get points. A lot of incentives for using these kind of fuel cards, which really help when fuel prices are skyrocketing as they are. So with access to gas cards, you don't have to stop business when you can't cover gas immediately with cash on hand. Big deal with your transportation. If you're filling a big rig truck right now, you got $1,000 in gas to cost to be able to fuel that truck. there's a huge problem when you can't afford to do so, right? So we've got to make sure that your business can keep running and that you can keep running as an individual. And with access to gas cards, you don't have to stop your business not to cover gas because you're able to spread the payments out, as Daryl even mentioned here, over the course of a couple years in some cases, which gives you the ability to keep your prices low and keep your business still operating profits, revenues that you can use to pay off that credit. Hey, thanks for coming in from Facebook. Rodney, hello. Thanks for coming in. Brian, great to have you here, man. Daryl, I love Synchrony, man. Yeah, Synchrony is the best. I mean, Synchrony is probably one of the best underwriters of all the corporate credit cards that are out there. So, Daryl, virtual fist bump. You and I have exactly the same view with our love for Synchrony. So be careful. Of course, you need to pay off the entire amount You don't have to pay off the entire amount monthly, but if you do, then it definitely helps your business credit. So things to keep in mind. You're also going to pay interest on the amount that you leave on those cards. So some things to keep in mind as well there. And you also want to handle credit responsibly, right? I mean, you don't want to rack up a bunch of debt that you can't pay. So, those are some common sense things to keep in mind. Only take on the credit you can actually handle. If you can't handle it responsibly, well, then this isn't credit you probably want to take on. Now, fuel cards can only mitigate mitigate rising gas prices, but if you use them appropriately, you can get all kinds of discounts and points. It can actually be in your benefit to use these kind of cards. Now, our Business Credit Builder has a lot of these sources. Okay, almost every major fuel station, from Pilot Flying J to Phillips 76 to Sunoco to Conoco to BP, Chevron, and just about Shell, about every other gas station you can think of. But today, we're going to dive in and talk about some of these fleet cards. Wex Fleet cards, I think we've got probably over 30 or 40 of these different accounts. So today what I want to do is I want to talk about some of the most popular ones that our clients like and break down the underwriting guidelines so you know what's involved to get approved. So let's look at a 76 card. This is owned by Phillips 66, sells gas in more than 1,800 retail fuel establishments, reports to Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax, and Experian. Okay, to qualify, you'll need a fundable foundation. Now, we're not going to talk about fundability today. Yesterday, as a matter of fact, we talked a lot about fundability. So if you want to know about fundability, then you can go to youtube.com/credit suite and you can get all kinds of training on fundability. Now, what this means is it means your business needs to be set up the right way. You need to have a business address and a business phone number. You need to have an EIN number. You need to have the right entity set up, preferably a corporation or an LLC, and a professional website, an email address, and know what your NAICS code is, and have a business bank account set up. You have to have a business set up that's legitimate, that's credible. Okay, and once you've done this is really the foundation that you need to start getting approved for all types of business credit without a personal guarantee and credit check, including these fuel cards. Now, with the Phillips 76, you also need a Paydex score of 80 or better. To get that, you need to get a free DUNS number with Dun & Bradstreet and have 3 accounts reporting to D&B before they'll issue you a score. A score of 80 just means you pay your bills as agreed. So if you get 3 accounts that report to D&B, you pay them as agreed. That's the key to being able to get an 80 Paydex. And there's a lot of places from Granger to Uline to Strategic Network Solutions and many others that we talk about as starter vendors that you can use to build the initial business credit to get the 80 score that you can then move on to get a Phillips 76 account. Now, if you're not approved based on business credit history or been in business for 1 year, then a $500 deposit is needed or a personal guarantee. Very important. What I like about fuel cards and building business credit is you have 2 choices. Choice 1 is you get them right away. You can use fuel cards to start initially as vendors to build initial business credit. The problem is, to do that, you're going to have to attach a personal guarantee. You're going to need a $500 deposit. Now, if you wait and put some accounts on your business credit reports first, then you're able to come in with about 8 payment experiences, which means if I look at if I look at Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax, and Experian, and I count up all the accounts on all 3 of these, if I have 8 across all 3 reporting agencies, then I can move on in almost all cases and get these fuel cards without the personal guarantee and without the deposit. So you have a choice. You can either get fuel cards early into the business credit building process with the PG and deposit, or you can wait till you have about 5 or even preferably 8 accounts. Then you're able to start getting these offers without the guarantee and without the credit check as well. So some things to keep in mind there. I'm going to go back just to make sure all of your questions are answered here. So Joe says, hey, can I get a fuel card without a license? You absolutely can. License is not a requirement for these fuel cards, but it always helps if you can get one. So if you can get a license in your county and you can just simply type in your county and then business license, you can oftentimes get a license, and it helps and goes a long way to helping you get all types of business credit, but it's not required. It's not an underwriting requirement for the Phillips 76 accounts. And Brian says, oh, that foundation will make or break your business in the long run. Yeah, and Brian's very correct. When we talk about fundable foundation, I'm skipping past it for this training because this training is not designed to go through. Yesterday, we spent 45 minutes just going through fundability. So we're not have time to cram all that in today. But as Brian says, it is the most important. If you talk about the most important thing when it comes to getting loans, credit lines, credit cards, getting approved, getting the most amount of money, getting the best terms, this is the key to all of that. So again, good point, Brian. I love that. And Facebook, thanks for coming in. It doesn't tell me your name, just says Facebook user, but thanks for saying hello. And tell me where you're from, if you don't mind. I always like when you chime in and say, hey, Ty, it's Sally from Pensacola, Florida. And I always give you a shout out when you do that. So please say hello. So Marathon, they provide transportation, fuel, asphalt, specialty products, product line supports, commercial, industrial, and retail operations. They report to DNB, Equifax, and Experian as well. And to qualify, you're going to need a fundable foundation. You're going to need also, and we talked about everything that entails, a quick overview, but you're going to want to go to youtube.com/credit suite for all kinds of information on building the fundable foundation, by building your business where it's legitimate and credible. You're also going to need the Paydex score of 80 or better, same as Phillips 76. A lot of these fuel cards are underwritten by the same sources, and we talked about Synchrony Bank being one of them. Citi is a big underwriter for corporate credit cards. So there's a couple things there. You don't want to apply for too many of these cards at the same time. If you get approved with one, you oftentimes get that approval canceled if you apply for too many at the same time because they're underwritten by the same source. So that means that if they see 2 or 3 applications come in for 2 or 3 credit cards in the same time, then they think it's fraud and they shut them down. So something to keep in mind there. The other thing to keep in mind is that the requirements are pretty similar with a lot of these fuel cards. You build that fundable foundation, you get 5 to 8 accounts, preferably 8 accounts on your business credit reports. And then when you have those and you're paying those bills as agreed, then you're able to get approved. It's why you'll see that a lot of the underwriting requirements are similar because a lot of the sources are underwritten by, or a lot of the fund fuel cards are underwritten by the same sources. So you can give a $500 deposit instead of a personal guarantee if you've been in business less than a year with them. So you actually have a choice of a guarantee or a $500 deposit, and they'll give you a 22 net term, which means you have 22 days to pay that account in its entirety. Now let's also talk about a Wex Fleet card. They offer universal fleet cards. These are available anywhere that sells fuel. So at all the fuel stations. And universally accepted business fleet cards. They also have a rewards program as well, so you can get rewards just for using them. And if not enough time elapses between applying for Wex cards, well, they may red flag your account for fraud. So this card reports to DNB, Equifax, and Experian, so you build 3 payment experiences. What I like about most fuel cards is they report to 2 or 3 reporting agencies. And I'll tell you why that's important. Remember, I just told you should have 8 payment experiences before you can really get around the guarantees and the deposits with most of these cards. So think of it like this. If you have this card, that's 3 payment experiences. It reports Dun & Bradstreet, which is 1, Equifax, which is 2, Experian, which is 3. So you have 3 of 8 payment experiences with 1 card. It's why when you build business credit, you always want to get accounts that report to as many reporting agencies as possible because that gives you more payment experiences and gets you faster through the steps of building business credit. It's also why, not to self-promote, but when you're working with Credit Suite, we make it really easy and we cut years off the business credit building process and condense it to only months. And the reason for that, the way that happens, is because we're able to give you all the sources that offer business credit, where they report to, in the order to apply. So you're only applying for ones you know you can get. You can get ones that give you more payment experiences. They report to more bureaus, and that helps expedite the entire process. So anytime you can get credit with sources that report to one or more than one reporting agency, you want to get it. And fleet cards report typically, in most cases, to 2 or 3 of the actual reporting agencies. Homestead, Florida, Raymond's in the house. Houston, Texas is in the house as well. And who underwrites Marathon? I'm not exactly sure who underwrites Marathon, Daryl. I'd have to actually take a deeper look. And the reason for that is that so many of these sources change underwriting or the people that actually underwrite them. And it's just impossible for me to memorize them all, to be honest with you, man. We've got hundreds and hundreds of sources in our back office, and I've just never taken the time to figure out who the underwriter is for every source. And I don't want to tell you an answer that I don't know to be 100% accurate. So I'm going to pass it like I don't know the 100% accurate answer, although I think I might know. I'm not sure, so I don't want to throw it out there. So to qualify, you need a fundable foundation. You also need a business phone number listed with 411. Okay, this is part of our fundability. When we do this for clients, we list our clients with 411 automatically because this is often a common requirement that they have. And for the Wex Fleet card, you'll also need a Paydex score of 80 or better. And if not approved based on business credit history or not in business 1 year, then a $500 deposit or a personal guarantee may be required. Net 22, but can be extended to even a net 30 account. Okay, so to recap, gas prices rising, right? Fuel cards, great alternative. You get points, you get cash back. You also can be able to finance your gas on terms, which gives you longer to navigate this crisis we're going through right now of all these factors that are contributing to high gas prices. And you're building business credit, which helps make you more lendable as well. So it's easier for you to get set up with lenders, with credit issuers, get credit cards, get credit lines, get loans, all because you're building that business credit history. So if you'd like to learn more about building your business credit, improving your fundability, give us a call. If you do a free finance assessment with us, we'll even get your business credit reports for free. We'll go over this with you. We'll give you tips and tactics to build your business credit. We'll do a fundability assessment to see where your fundability stands, give you advice on fixing fundability. And then we'll also come in and we will also be able to qualify you for financing, tell you all the financing you can qualify for right now. So all you have to do is give us a call, 877-600-2487. info@creditsuite.com. You can email us or you can schedule online at creditsuite.com/consult. And if you got value from this training, hit the like button, subscribe. When you like, you tell other entrepreneurs it's valuable and we help more people. And when you subscribe, you get notified when we go live. We go live Tuesday and Thursday at 1, 11 o'clock on Wednesday. All of our live streams are about one thing, helping you get money. And we're going to need to talk a lot more about that as an impending recession comes, because you're going to need to get access to credit. Revolving credit, including credit cards, credit lines, and even stock up on loans. Okay, we're doing it. We just got a credit line and just got a loan because we see the recession coming. So we stock up on cash. You should be too. And we'll be talking about that in the weeks and months to come on the best way to do it. To get all of our training, all you have to do is go to creditsuite.com and like and subscribe on all of our channels. Less than 1 minute. And the reason you want to do it is we have 1-minute tips on places like Insta and TikTok. We have thousands of videos on YouTube. We have daily tips on Twitter and Facebook, and even a podcast you can listen on the go. So it keeps you plugged into the newest information about what's happening with credit and financing and how you can tap into OPM or other people's money to be able to grow your business. So thank you very much for tuning in. Make sure you give us a call for your free finance assessment. And I look forward to seeing you on our next training where we talk about more cool ways to get the money